their laughter floating in the morning air. But when she appeared, the laughter stopped immediately, and eyes followed her. Her name was Angela. Angela's skin shone like freshly poured palm oil under the sun, smooth, flawless, without a single blemish. Her waist curved like a gentle river. Her walk was graceful, and her smile could melt the hardest heart. Even the oldest men in the village swore they had never seen such beauty. And yet, Angela was not proud. She greeted elders with respect, helped young girls carry their water pots, and always knelt slightly when speaking to older women. Every time she went to fetch firewood, men would rush to her. Some would carry her bundle on their heads just to hear her say thank you. At the stream, young men would appear with gifts, fresh fish, shiny beads, or sweet-smelling soap from the city, just to get a smile from her. But no matter how many offers of marriage came, Angela refused them all. She would say, "I've only married the man my heart chooses, not the one my eyes admire." One evening, as she balanced a pot of water on her head, a strange feeling made her stop. Standing at the path's bend was a man she had never seen before. He was tall, with broad shoulders and eyes that carried both strength and gentleness. His name, she would soon learn, was Obinna. Their eyes met, and for the first time in her life, Angela's heart skipped. The next few weeks were like a dream. They met under the Udala tree to talk. He told her about his farm, his dreams, and how he wanted a peaceful home filled with love. Angela listened, smiling, feeling her heart open in ways she couldn't explain. One night, Obinna held her hand and said, "Angela, I don't have gold, I don't have silver, but I have a heart that will love you until my last breath. Will you be my wife?" Her answer was not in words. It was in the tears of joy that rolled down her cheeks. The wedding of Angela and Obinna was the talk of Umudike. Women in the village still whispered about the day she walked down the sandy path in a white lace wrapper, her smile brighter than the midday sun. The drummers beat their talking drums until the sound carried across the hills, and the men danced until their feet were coated in red dust. Obinna treated her like a queen. He woke early to fetch water before she even opened her eyes. He bought her the finest fabric from the market in Nkwo, and when she cooked, he would sit close, telling her how lucky he was to have her. Their small mud house soon became a home filled with laughter, warm meals, and the sweet smell of fresh flowers that Obinna planted by the doorway. But after a year, the laughter started to fade. There was no sound of a baby's cry, no little feet running on the dusty floor, and in a village where children were seen as the pride of a marriage, whispers began. As Angela closed her womb with pride, or did Obinna marry the woman caused by the gods? Angela pretended not to hear. She would smile in public, but at home, she cried all night. Obinna always held her and whispered, "My love, even if it's just you and me, I'll still be the happiest man alive." But deep inside, Obinna wanted a child too. One market day, while selling yams at his stall, Obinna noticed an old woman standing in the shade of a mango tree. Her skin was wrinkled like dry river birds, but her eyes were sharp, almost glowing. She beckoned to him. When he walked closer, her voice was low but clear. "I can give you what your heart desires, a child, but it will cost you something only a man who truly loves can give." Obinna's chest tightened. "What is it?" he asked. She leaned in so close he could smell the herbs on her breath. "I want your life. When the time is right, you will give it to me, and she will have her own child." For a long moment, Obinna stared at her. His mind screamed no, but his heart remembered Angela's tear-stained face. That night, he lay beside his wife, watching her sleep. He touched her cheek and made a silent vow. The harmattan wind was cold that morning. Obinna tied his cutlass to his waist and picked up a small wooden basket. "I'll be back soon, my love," he told Angela with a smile. She kissed his cheek and waved as he walked down the narrow path to the farm. But midday came, then evening, and Obinna did not return. At first, Angela told herself maybe he's working late, but when the sun sank behind the hills and darkness swallowed the village, her chest grew tight with fear. She lit a lantern and went from house to house, asking if anyone had seen her husband. By nightfall, a search party had gathered. Men with torches combed through the farms, calling his name into the shadows. Women stood at the edges of the fields, whispering prayers. But all they found was his basket lying in the dirt, empty. Angela fell to her knees, clutching it to her chest. Her cries echoed through the night. Days turned into weeks. The search stopped. People shook their heads sadly whenever they saw her. Some whispered that the forest spirit had taken him. Others said he had run away. But Angela refused to believe either. She still set a plate for him at midtime. She still woke up in the night, listening to his footsteps. Then, one quiet morning, she felt a strange heaviness in her body. Her hands trembled as she went to the village healer. The old woman touched her belly and smiled. "My daughter, you are with child." Tears spilled down Angela's face. Joy and pain all mixed together. She had longed for this moment, but the man who would have danced for days at the news was not here to hear it. 9 months later, her cries of labor filled the room. The women around her cheered when the baby's first wave pierced the air. But as they cleaned the child, the room grew silent. The boy's nose was large, very large, fat and wide, in a way no one in the village had ever seen. One of the women muttered under her breath, strange blood." Outside, word began to spread. Amara named her son Kenechukwu. Thank God, because despite everything, he was her blessing. From the moment he could walk, Kenechukwu was curious and full of laughter. He loved chasing butterflies by the stream, helping his mother pound yam, and sitting by the elders to listen to old stories. But no matter how kind or smart he was, there was one thing people never let him forget: his nose. It was big, round, and sat proudly in the middle of his face. The village children pointed and laughed. Some called him Calabash Nose, while others made trumpet sound whenever he passed. Angela tried to shield him from it, telling him, "My son, the size of your nose is nothing compared to the size of your heart." But the worst of it came from Princess Ifunanya, the king's only daughter. The princess was beautiful, with skin like smooth cocoa and a smile that could melt stone. Until she would open her mouth, she was proud, sharp-tongued, and loved making others feel small. Whenever she saw Kenechukwu, she would put on a fake surprise face. "Ah, is it you, or is it a calabash?" Her friends, the royal maidens, would burst into loud laughter, their bracelets jingling as they pointed at him. One festival day, the teasing went too far. The village square was full, drummers beating, dancers spinning in colorful wrappers. Kenechukwu walked past with a basket of palm fruit for his mother when the princess suddenly shouted, "Careful everyone, if he turns his nose, it will sweep us all." The crowd erupted in laughter. Kenechukwu froze, his face burning. For a moment, he wished the earth would open and swallow him. But through the noise, he felt a gentle hand slip into his. It was Adaeze, a girl from the next compound. She had been his friend since they were both toddlers playing in the dust. She didn't laugh. She didn't even smile. She looked straight at him and said softly, "Ignore them, you are better than their words." That night, as he lay on his mat, Kenechukwu made a silent wish. "I wish one day they would respect me." Kenechukwu had grown into a tall, strong young man. His eyes still carried that same kindness from childhood. But there was something else now, determination. The teasing never fully stopped, even as he helped others repair their roofs, even as he fetched water for widows. Some still whispered and laughed behind his back. The princess's insults were now less frequent, but they still cut deep whenever they came. One morning, after a particularly cruel joke from the royal maidens, Kenechukwu sat by the stream with Adaeze. "I am leaving," he said quietly. Adeze's eyes widened. "Leaving? To where?" "Anywhere that will give me a chance to be more than the boy with the big nose. I want to be a man the whole village will remember." The very next week, Kenechukwu left Umudike. He worked for days, working odd jobs in towns along the way, carrying loads at the market, farming, even fishing. He was quick to learn, and every little coin he made, he saved. Years passed. Rumors reached the village Kenechukwu is in the city. They say he works for a rich traders. No, it's not that oh. They say he's building his own business, some will say. But no one truly knew. Then, one bright morning, the sound of a powerful engine rolled into Umudike. The villagers gathered to see a sleek black jeep roll to a stop in the market square. The door opened, and out stepped a man in a fine agbada, gold watch gleaming, shoes shining like mirrors. It was Kenechukwu. Gas filled the air. His shoulders were broader, his voice deeper, his steps confidence. Behind him, workers unloaded crates of goods, bags of rice, salt, sugar, and even boxes of clothes. Women whispered, men nodded in respect. Even the elders rose from their seats just to greet him. And somewhere in the crowd, Princess Ifunaya's jaw tightened. She had not seen him in years, and now he was the kind of man every woman in the village would want. That evening, the princess sent a royal messenger to his new home. Her Highness invites you to dine at the palace. Kenechukwu smiled faintly and sent back a polite reply. Tell the princess I will think about it. The morning sun lit up Umudike, but all eyes were on one man, Kenechukwu. Word had already spread that he had ignored the princess' royal dinner invitation. People whispered, trying to guess why. Instead of walking towards the palace, Kenechukwu's polished shoes took him to a humble compound at the edge of the village. There, under the shade of a mango tree, Adaeze was sweeping the yard. When she looked up and saw him, her eyes widened. Kene, is that really you? He smiled. It's me, oh, and I came back for something important. She jumped up and hugged him tightly. Later, they both sat on a wooden bench, just like they had as children. He told her about the years he had been away and how he started working for a trader, learned the business, and eventually opened his own company. He told her how every success he achieved, he wished she was there to see it. Adaeze, he said softly, you were the only one who never laughed at me when the world did. You saw me for who I am, not for my nose. And that is why I want you to be my wife. Adaeze's broom slipped from her fingers. Her heart raced. She had already loved him quietly, but never imagined this moment. Tears filled her eyes as she nodded yes Kenechukwu 1,000 times yes. When news of their engagement reached the palace, Princess Ifunaya's pride cracked like dry clay. She sat in her father's courtyard, watching from a distance as the villagers celebrated Kenechukwu and Adaeze. The wedding was grand. Drummers played until their hands ached. Women danced until their wrappers came loose. And the air was sweet with the smell of roasted meat and palm wine. As Kenechukwu placed a beaded necklace around Adaeze's neck, he looked out at the crowd. His eyes met the princess, and for a brief moment, he saw regret written all over her face. But he simply smiled and turned back to his bride. My life began the day you stood by me, he whispered to Adaeze. The crowd erupted in cheers. The princess turned away, tears in her eyes. But this time, they were not from laughter. The moral lesson of this story: true worth is never in appearance, but in the heart. And those who mock today may one day wish they had shown kindness. Thank you so much for watching this story. Please, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and please subscribe to my channel. This is just the beginning.